Welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails through Daybreak, where we are in chapter 3 now, I think, was it? And currently we are doing side quests, and this one was about some missing migrant workers? Oh, children?
Wow, those guys are so cool.
Playing with RC cars? You're the Conrad that posted the request? We're from Upgrade Solutions. Oh yes, you really do look dependable. It's just as the rumors said. Wait, isn't that guy... I'm assuming you're the one who recommended our services? You're the editor-in-chief of that one gossip rag. We met sometime last year, didn't we? Gotta say though, you picked an awfully lively place for a meetup this time. Wouldn't suppose there's a reason for that? I see you're as quick on the uptake as ever, Arkwright. Having a loud crowd surrounding us makes it harder for people to eavesdrop. Anyway, you hear out this request, won't you? It sounded like it would be right up your alley. If I remember correctly, you often act as a go-between for immigrants dealing with special circumstances, right? I'm not so sure about this one, guys. Migrant workers tend to get caught up in a lot of not-so-honest work. They get a bad rap for a reason. Believe me, I understand the reputation they have better than anyone else. But there can be a lot of red tape in the paperwork. If we want to feed their families, most have no choice but to resort to criminal means. People like that are who make up a majority of my client base. Migrants unable to obtain proper work visas. In other words, migrants who have no legal right to work in this country. I've seen firsthand the problems immigrants can face. It's not pleasant. Well, if they're Eastern, you can bet Heyo will take care of them. But I guess the others don't really got a lot of options. Exactly, so my job is to introduce those people to someone who can provide them work. Then I get a finder's fee from the employer. And maybe it's not my place to say, but I believe that's a better outcome than them starving the streets or wait for their papers. Well, when you put it that way... I understand where you're apprehensive. I'm sure you know plenty of people like him who use that job to exploit foreigners. It's just, well... Conrad here knows where to draw the line, but I suppose he has sent a few people to handle some seriously dreadful menial labor. But trust me when I say he neither introduces them to illegal work nor takes cuts of their pay. Well, I guess that's as much assurance as we can get. Go ahead and give us the details then. I'm guessing it got something to do with those missing workers we've been hearing about. Yes, you see, after contacting me about how the work isn't for them, they go missing altogether. It's been a pretty big topic of concern in my line of work, but nobody's been able to make heads or tails of it. Honestly, if this keeps up, I'm worried suspicion will start to fall on both me and my colleagues. Yeah, you're right, you'd be suspect number one in no time. So what? You want us to figure out what's going on so we don't start pinning the disappearance on you guys? If you could, yes. Does that sound like something you could do? Sure. Alright, seems like a pretty cut and dry issue. Plus you can't exactly say no to a referral from the editor-in-chief. Yeah, I'm also pretty worried about the safety of these workers. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so relieved. Just can't get a good night's sleep knowing what could be happening to those people. And here I thought we were more worried about saving your own ass. Well, I've been doing this work for a while. You hear some pretty grueling stories about the lives immigrants lead. You'd have to have a heart of stone not to sympathize with them. Well, if that's how you feel, maybe I don't have as many reservations about this job as I thought. I agree. If the lives of those migrant workers truly are in jeopardy, I see no issue in taking on this request. Do you mind going over the details once more? I can't thank you enough. I've been a bit hesitant to consult the police over braces, so this is a huge weight off my shoulders. Well, looks like things are finally going your way, Conrad. I'm glad I was here to introduce you all. Anyhow, I'm a busy man, so I'll be heading off now. Feel free to decide what to do amongst yourself. That guy's a real piece of work. I'm sure we'll be just fine without him. More importantly, why don't you fill us in on some of the specifics? I heard something about the once disappearing being migrants from the north of Zemuria? That's right, they're ones who have gone missing most frequently. Easterners and Central Easterners haven't seemed to be affected at all, however. Huh, even white foreigners come here for work? They do, yes. After all, there's a fair number of undeveloped regions in the north. Along with those from Northumbria, the Republic also receives immigrants from the outlying areas around the three cities as well. Yeah, I used to hear all sorts of stories about the tribes up there. It's strange they've been made a target though. We're gonna need to do some digging, particularly into the workers' backgrounds. I'm glad you share my concern, however I believe it's best if I leave the rest to you. I'll be in the area for a while. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. So, what do you want to do first? You don't exactly have much to go on. We need to find people who are familiar not with only migrant workers, but specifically those from North Zemuria. Now that I think about it, I've heard that one subcontracting factory employs loads of them. Then we could probably talk some of their business partners into spilling a few dirty secrets. Exactly, the workers themselves would likely be on guard if we were to ask directly. Investigating the periphery is definitely a better strategy. Alright then, let's hit up Bradley's first. Given all the parts he has to order, I'm sure he's got some connections with people in subcontracting. Not only that, but he's the kind to pay attention to the small stuff. He might just have some pretty good leads. Who do you think we should ask about the migrants? Gabriella used to work with the Northern Jaegers, right? Maybe she knows something. Nah, her roots run a little too deep in the underworld. We should try talking to some of the more lawful immigrant populations first. In that case, we should focus on places where people from the north are most likely to gather. Come to think of it, aren't the people who run Old Town's bathhouse from the area? Nice job, Agnes. It's usually pretty easy to miss something right under your nose. Well, it was more of an epiphany than anything. That being said, I think they became naturalized citizens quite a while ago. Do you think they still know what's going on in the migrant community? I think it's worth a shot. After all, Northern folk take their sonas pretty seriously. Even if they don't have direct connections anymore, it's likely that Laguna still serves as a central hub. Then I suppose it's settled. Maybe heading to Bradley Maintenance and Laguna Bathhouse.
Let's start this 4SPG, shall we?
Good. Then go to Riverside, Bradley Maintenance.
I guess we're off. And now for the latest news.
Got a question for you.
So you want to know about the people my suppliers employ, huh? Well, I gotta imagine they use a fair share of migrant workers. Don't they ever talk to you about them? Figured you would have known more. I mean, they don't exactly fill me in on all the details, but I guess I've been hearing some strange things about them lately. Things that have got even me concerned. Don't know if it's what you're looking for, but I can share it with you if you like. That would be very helpful, Mr. Bradley. Did something happen? Right, well, where should I start? Apparently a bunch of migrant workers at one of the factories shut up and quit recently, all over a few days ago. I thought it was some sort of strike at first. But it doesn't seem like that was the case. There's been no contact from the workers since. That is certainly worrisome. Were there any warning signs? From what I've been told, the management had no idea any of it would happen till it all went down. The ones who left were known to be pretty serious workers too. None of them showed any dissatisfaction with their jobs at all. But regardless, they all got up around the same time and called it quits. I think they said something to the likes of, "This job doesn't suit me," or "I deserve better." It's pretty strange we all give the same reasons for leaving. Not to mention how these were the last people you'd expect it from. It sounded like this was instigated by someone. Any word about possible third parties? Well, I wouldn't say I'm that informed, but I heard a little something about those workers being seen talking to someone on the outside. I see. Whoever that someone is must have had quite an influence on them. But quitting so suddenly? What were they planning on doing after they left? The factory is worried about the same thing. They even asked them if they had any other jobs lined up. I guess the workers seemed pretty confident that things would work out. Maybe that person they were confiding in gave them some sort of grant opportunity? Well, anyway, that's about all I know at the moment. I should mention though, everything I heard was just complaints from my suppliers. No worries, you've been a great help. Yeah, you've really given us a lot to think on. And the bathhouse.
I guess we're off.
Got a question for you.
Anya? You want to know about immigrants from North Zemuria? You're right, we do see our fair share around here. Our family's from Ramafaria, but we share our culture with people all over the north. Particularly, we get lots of North Ambient migrants who like to stop by. I usually come in to talk to my grandma and grandpa about all their problems. I think maybe it's the workers complaining about their day? Bingo. Still picking up on stuff like that is pretty impressive. Tell me, have you heard anything strange lately about these workers you mentioned? Well, I guess it's not really new, but there's been some talk about them being dissatisfied with the way they're being treated. Dissatisfied with the way they're being treated? Are they being discriminated against? I think it's a little different. I mean, even though they're immigrants, they still look like pretty much everyone else in Calvert, right? Compared to other immigrants, the ones from up north don't really stand out that much. That's true, even immigrant advocate movements tend to focus on those from the East or Central East. I'm sure it's because philosophical differences are more easily identifiable. But if that idea starts making the rounds, it's not hard to imagine why northern migrants would be treated less favorably. And it's hard to garner sympathy for them when they look just like the majority of Calvert's population. So they feel like they're being left out, is that it? Even though they're dealing with similar problems, it's harder for them to gain the same amount of sympathy. I can see how that might make you feel a bit trapped. Wouldn't be surprised if someone was able to use that to their advantage. Yeah, but I haven't heard a thing about anyone being swindled. So she got to you already, huh? Might just have some useful gossip for you all. You've heard something? You better not be pulling that tail. Well, it's only something that came down the grapevine. There's been talk of someone who can pull foreign workers from the mire of their jobs. Interesting, can you tell us more? You see, I've been looking into investment trends for social welfare services recently. While I was doing some research, I heard something about a non-profit organization that struck me as a tad peculiar. An NPO? Yes, it was only recently created too. They say they're a group that provides employment support to immigrant groups. It appears they've been luring in migrants who already have jobs with promise of both better pay and working conditions. All it takes is one question. Are you really happy with where you're at right now? That's remarkably similar to what we heard over at Bradley's place. Yeah, it seems that there's a good chance that the someone they're consulting with is that MPO. They don't seem to be finding new jobs for the ones that quit either. In my opinion, it's all rather irresponsible of them. The least they could do is help them get back on their feet. I agree. No matter how prosperous the Republic is now, there's no guarantee that they'll be able to find another stable income so easily. Especially for those that don't have a valid work visa. That sounds like they're just increasing the number of unemployed immigrants. Why would they do that? They can't be profiting from it somehow, right? It might be too late to ask this now, but what is an NPO? I heard of an NGO before. Of course, to give a simple explanation, NGO stands for non-governmental organization. On the other hand, NPO stands for non-profit organization. Both are independent from their nations and are operating to better social welfare. In general, the ones that are restricted to specific fields and act on a local level are NPOs. Those who act on an international level and cover multiple pursuits are referred to as NGOs. I see, I think I get it now. But if that's true, then this MPO isn't making anything better at all. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to do some more research into this organization. Thanks for all your help, guys. You're welcome. I hope you figured out. Come on, there's no need for thanks. Just join me for the next game of Mahjong and I consider it even. Okay, so we got a lot more information than we thought we would. Why don't we find a place where we can sort through it all? Shall we head back to Station Street? That way we can update Conrad on the situation as well. And with all the people in that area, it's possible we'll be able to pick up some extra info along the way. I think it might also be a good time to inform the guild of any developments. Right, let's get going then.
It's such a stick in the mud.
I would not be surprised if this NPO is actually a front for a racist group. Wants to give an excuse to throw these people out or do something worse to them. But this is all a massive scam to harm these people. Alright, as it stands now, I think we have a pretty basic idea of what went down. A bit hazy on a few other details though. Let's just start by putting everything in order. A base assumption is that the ones going missing are primarily those from the north of Zemuria. They're also all migrants that don't have work visas. They quit their jobs all within the same time frame but vanished immediately after. And the one who told them to quit was from an NPO. But the question is why? What could they possibly stand to gain from getting migrants to quit? It's also worrying that those who left seem to have cut off all communications. We definitely still have a lot of questions about the whole thing. If only we had something more conclusive. Why don't we just go to the source of the problem then? Let's find this MPO person and make them tell us what's going on. The problem with that is we don't actually know which MPO they're part of. Huck didn't really give us any solid information. Oh, Agnes, is this a part-time job you were talking about? Oh, Miss Toa. Other than Agnes and Elaine, I don't think I had the pleasure of meeting you all. I'm Toa Herschel, one of the temporary teachers at Aramis. I also work to assist ICO, the International Cooperative Organization. It's nice to meet you. Are you Agnes' teacher? Toa Herschel is also the chief instructor at the branch campus of Force Military Academy. I've heard she's quite the central figure there. Not only did she manage to engage its current students, but its alumni as well. Well, I don't think I'm worth that much fanfare. On the other hand, I've heard more than my fair share of stories about Mr. Arkwright. I must admit, I've been looking forward to making your acquaintance. It's just as much of an honor to meet the rumored genius of Force. I'm told you've got your hands in all sorts of places. Perhaps we have the opportunity to work together sometime? Yeah, I'm sure we will. You know, actually, there are a few things we're struggling to understand at the moment. Think you could lend us a hand? Miss Toa is associated with an NGO. Would you happen to know anything about the NPOs currently operating in the Republic? What, are you having problems with one of them? Please, tell me everything you know. The group began to apprise Toa of the details of their current job and what they had learned about the suspicious NPO. However, her response was outside of their expectations. I had no idea it was something you were investigating. The NGO I'm currently associated with does its work to support area-level NPOs. The one I'm looking into at the moment hasn't been as forthcoming about the results of their activities. Naturally, there's been a bit of suspicion. Given the timing, I can't deny the possibility that it might just be connected to the one you've all heard about. Also, I believe their stated intentions are to aid the employment of foreigners with special circumstances. Well, I can't say for sure that we're the same organization, but it seems like our most likely lead at the moment. I agree, but would you mind allowing me to accompany you in your investigations? This could be exactly what I need for a breakthrough in my case. I won't hesitate to give you my full cooperation. And if it isn't, it's still related to an issue of an NPO. It's my duty to follow up on it. You mean you help us? That would be great. Yeah, I would have been satisfied with a few useful tidbits, but having you with us will be way more efficient, even if I do end up owing you one. I look forward to working with you. Yes, I think our odds will be much better with her along. Well, now that we've welcomed you aboard, do you think you could share any of your more recent findings? Maybe it'll help us figure out our next steps. Actually, I do have something. I have a friend who's been looking into this group as well. I've been waiting for them to contact me with whatever they found, and speak of the devil. Hello, sorry about all the extra tasks. Did you find anything useful? This friend of hers, I get the feeling they're not a member of the ICO. Outside the NGO, her friends would be... Never mind, there's no sense in worrying about it right now. Yes, actually I found another group that was looking into a suspicious MPO. It seems to be for a separate incident, however. From what I've heard so far, I'm pretty sure the MPO we are looking into is one of the same. Anyway, you said there was movement over in the Centre Marché? I'll head over now to check it out. Sorry to keep you waiting, we managed to find something after all. As I mentioned, we're almost confident that the MPO I've been looking into and the one from your case are the same organization. The official name is the Association for Better Migrant Worker Condition. To think they're not only misappropriating funds, but they may also be involved in the disappearance of migrant workers? I can't believe it. Miss Tower? Regardless, it looks like we know what we need to do. You said something about there being movement over in the Center Marché, right? Then we should hurry. If we're quick enough, we might be able to catch them in the act. Following that van, the West made their way to the Center Marché. God. I'm having a thought right now. Are we dealing with slave traders? Do you think that's the person we're looking for? Let's catch him before we lose his trail. Ferry can play good cop, I play bad cop. No, he can't. He might just be an innocent bystander. Yeah, if you approach the wrong person, it could alert the guy we're actually after. We're running out of time though. As soon as we get some confirmation, we'll make a move. I see, that person just now said he was from the Association for Better Migrant Worker Conditions, right? Yeah, I'm not from Calvert, so he was asking if I was unhappy with my job. He said that in order to find more quality work, I should quit as soon as I can so that we could talk about other opportunities. If I'm being honest though, I'm much more interested in having a stable income. I turned him down. Son? Yeah, he's gotta be our guy. The name, his methods, there's no room for doubt. He can't have gone far, let's follow him. Yes, we need to put a stop to this. This street doesn't seem to be as crowded as the others. Do you think he's going to meet someone? This might be our chance to find out who's behind all this. Let's try and keep out of sight. Follow the suspicious man. Goes into the sewers? I believe that gate leads to the old sewer system. All that sneaking must mean they've got a secret meeting going on. But that's definitely not the kind of place the employee of an MPO would drop by. The alley is pretty narrow. If we try to cram ourselves in there, we'd be caught in no time. Mind giving us a hand cutter? Oh, I see. Sure, Theo should have no issue getting in. They'll be able to survey the scene for us. Theo, daughter of Zero, but transmit everything in your surroundings, okay?
Understood. Pursuing target in stealth mode, sending visuals and sound to Kator's cipher.
And how was today's harvest? Not as good as we hoped. They seem pretty content with where they are there. I'm planning on going back to the construction areas of the suburbs. I'd better luck over there. Well, I guess we do already have enough for the first camp. We shouldn't get too greedy. Anyway, delivery is right after this. You'll be there, right? Yeah, after all the trouble I went through, I'll be sure to see them off. Besides, I wanted to ask the people up top who the client was. It's probably better if you keep your questions to yourself. Anyway, I'm heading down to the subway to find some runaways that fit the bill. Well, if something comes up, just give me a holler. Did I hear that right? Yeah, this seems to be more dangerous than we thought. We absolutely cannot allow them to get away with this. And all under the guise of trying to help. It's just too cruel. We have to do something. The target is leaving. It sounded like he was headed to their gathering place. Alright, let's keep after him. Yes, we should hurry. Follow him further. Car? He's using a car. Looks like he headed to the suburbs. I was able to take down his license plate number. However, even if we manage to find a car, it's unlikely we'll be able to catch up to him. Maybe my friends will know its destination. Can I have a minute? Hey, you mentioned something about movement in the suburbs earlier? A bus that was transporting people. It has to be them. You saw it somewhere along Highway 8. Highway 8? That man was headed in the same direction. Then that's our next stop. Sorry that this is sudden, but I appreciate the info. We look into it on our end. Don't worry about the rest. Good luck. Give us a call if you need anything else. Alright, it looks like we managed to figure it out. Didn't think we'd end up relying on your friends again so soon. Let's go see what these criminals have got cooking. We'll put a stop to whatever they're planning. Go to Highway 8. This isn't what we agreed to. You said you'd get better jobs for us. Where are you even taking us to? As I said, I'm taking you to a new employer, just as we agreed. Besides, not like you were able to find anything better in the meantime, were you? Damn you, I've never should have listened to your crap. You have no right to refuse. You're coming with us whether you like it or not. You're all living outside the law, don't you see? Just stay quiet and do as you're told. I see you finally decided to show your true colors. Sorry, but the law family won't be getting away with this one. How dare you take advantage of these people? You're putting an end to this. You target people looking for help just to do something like this? And just so you know, we've been recording this entire time. I'm sure there's enough for a quick conviction too. Thanks for scouting ahead, Theo. How did you find us? Awkward Solutions? Aren't you the ones who landed us in hot water last year? Glad to hear we left such a good impression on you folk. Then I don't gonna explain what we do with scum like you, now do I? Cause we don't exactly bring out the tea and cookies. You're the recruiter for the TLoH family, right? Pretty bold of you setting foot in a trade even the Lai family won't touch. You assholes must be so proud. All slave traders are the same. The only way to deal with them is to beat them senseless. Proceeding with area lockdown. All bystanders, please retreat to a safe distance. Don't worry about the people on the bus. I'll make sure nobody gets past. You think you can look down on us? You're not going anywhere. I make you regret sticking a nose that don't belong. Maybe if you get on your knees and back, we consider going easy on you.
Let's see what you're made of.
Now's a great time for a shard boost.
Get ready.
Engaging skill.
It's go time.
We should go on the attack.
Playtime's over. There. I'm going.
Dispatching shield.
Peng.
Deploying shield. Deploying shield.
It's up to you now. Taking center. It's go time.
Watch it. They're trying to attack.
Initiating skill.
Criminal. You.
Deploying shield.
You can't best me.
Engaging skill.
I'll be quick.
No way. It's go time.
Activating skill.
No
Gotcha.
way.
Alright. And if you're looking for someone to blame, then take it up with your leaders. Alright, let's get them tied up. Damn it, they've ruined everything! Well, if I can't win, I'd at least make sure they lose. Think again. How did you... Let's just say I have a lot of experience under my belt. Besides, there's no way I was about to let you go after all the harm you caused. What, you really thought we forgot about you? You must be the king of wishful thinking. Yeah, no dice man, you've got a hell of a lot to answer for. You better not skim out on any details either. Fine, I surrender. After that, the man pretending to be a part of an NPO was thoroughly interrogated. The TLoH family's foray into the slave trade was indeed a decision agreed upon by their higher-ups. However, the shell company that was used as a front for the NPO was originally meant to receive illegal grant money. As for the reason they seemed to be targeting people from the north, the culprit had no idea. It was deemed to be knowledge above his pay grade. Thanks for handing them over to us. We've had our eye on the TLoH family's activities for quite a while now. Well, I'm glad we could at least put one of their schemes to bed. Anyway, is it really okay for us to speak to the victims right now? Don't get me wrong, I'm only giving you a few minutes. And even if you do have connections to King Cat, just try and stay out of trouble from now on, alright? Okay, okay, I'll try to keep my head down. Excuse me, Agent Hubert? Yes, we were able to apprehend all the Mafia's collaborators. We still need to confirm with the second External Affairs Division if it's related to the prior incident. From what we've learned so far, it seems their client... Yes, given the demographics for victims, I have no doubt that it's related. We'll have to do investigations into their backgrounds. Is something wrong, Agent Hubert? It's nothing for you to worry about. Anyway, the Integrated Analysis Division should come to a decision once we receive all remaining details. We'll talk more then. Well, as it stands, it sounds like we'll be formally taking charge of this investigation. We've appreciated your cooperation thus far, but seriously, keep your hands to yourself from now on, okay? Yeah, no need to tell me twice. Well, I suppose since we found all the missing immigrants, we can consider this job a case closed. Yes, I agree. However, I'm a bit worried that we're unaware as to why we're targeting migrants from the north of Zemuria. Their client was in need of people within that demographic. As for what reason, I really don't know. Yeah, it didn't really seem like the guy was lying about that part either. Come to think of it, that guy from the CID said they were still worried about the particular client of the TLoH families. A demand for people from the poorest walks of life. It's not hard to imagine what they plan to do with them. Yes, but we don't have proof of any further intentions they may have. We'd have to do a more thorough investigation. But that can wait for now. I think we should worry about getting these people back at home first. After taking a quick count of the people on the bus, one group escorted them back to the capital. Upon arrival, the group went to report back to Conrad on the outcome of the job. So at the end of the day, it was the TLoH family behind it all. We're not completely sure why they had such specific targets, but we did manage to bring everyone back safely. Thank goodness, I'm glad I asked for your help after all. Must say, I'm surprised it was a scheme by the Mafia, though. How could they be so cruel? I'm worried the victims will have a hard time recovering from the trauma. Yes, that is a valid concern, and as migrants without valid work visas, they have very little protection under the law. They were manipulated out of their chance for stability. Even if they were to report the damages to the police, they might just end up being arrested and deported. The guild should have no issue with taking them in as a form of humanitarian sanctuary. But I suppose considering their unlawful status, there would be a limit to how much they could do if officials were to intervene. They probably have to dismantle all the laws from the past century to get anything done. Man, this sucks. How do you want to deal with this, Chief? Well... Conrad. I would prefer to leave this up to you, Conrad. Van? Well, I suppose it's part of my job. You just want me to place them back into stable positions, right? I don't mean to sound so unsure, but is this really how you want to handle things? I get a feeling you're someone who actually cares about these people. Plus, you got the editor-in-chief watching for you, right? That sounds like a good guy in my book. Honestly, I'm not so sure about this. Yeah, it kinda sounds like you're leaving it to chance. Look, these people must have some pretty good reasons for taking the risk to come and work in the Republic. And given that Conrad's done all this before, I'm sure he is more than familiar with the ins and outs of the police and immigration authorities. Which means he can get them new jobs in practically no time at all, ain't that right? Yes, of course, in order to take full responsibility for this mishap. I'll be sure to have them back on their feet as soon as possible. And I'll make certain that whoever employs them this time isn't looking to harm them. You have my word. As a member of a guild, this isn't something I can officially condone. Are you sure this is a choice you want to make, Van? Yeah, Spring's gotta be steadfast in their decisions, you know? I think this is the best way to deal with the situation. Besides, it's not like I plan to leave it up to this guy alone. I don't trust him that much. If he goes back on his promise, I'll make sure he pays for it. Alright, I suppose we see how it plays out. Naturally, if anything happens, the guild will have no choice but to intervene. Just so you're aware. Anyway, thanks for your help. The workers were saved and I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder. I'll deposit the money into your account as soon as I can. Works for me. If you ever need help with anything else, just let us know. I have to make sure I give my thanks to Cunning again too. Well, I guess I'll be heading off now, and to gather the crew and discuss our steps going forward. I think it's about time I'm on my way as well. I'm sure we have plenty to discuss at the next ICO meeting. We'll probably have to do a bunch of research too. Thank you so much for all your help, Mr. Tower. We wouldn't have been able to solve this case without you. Yeah, I'd heard you were good, but you really pulled out all the stops. I might even come to you for help on our future jobs. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Farewell, Agnes. Good luck with everything. We're done here, right? This thing left a pretty bad taste in my mouth. There's a few things I'm still worried about personally, but we can at least rest assured that victims will be taken care of. I think we can go ahead and call this a case closed. We should keep this whole situation in mind for the future though. Yeah, if those villains ever show their face again, I'll tear them a new one. I'm sure the guild will have to raise their alerts after hearing about all this. If this is just a hint of what's going on in the underground, we might want to deal with the situation before it evolves even further. I'm worried that something like this will happen again. One Tower seemed to have suspicions about who the mastermind is though. What the CID said about a certain demographics being targeted? Maybe? I don't know. And this Hubert guy, the Cody from the CID talked to, we know from a connection event in the first game that that guy is basically a triple agent for the Empire and the Republic and back and forth. Okay, so, have you uncovered anything about our main concern? Nah, still a bit hazy on all the details of our plan, to be honest. But what we do know is that it looks like we're gonna take action soon. Guessing that's why the CID has been on the defense against this second generation recently. So this is how they're connected. Alright then, I'll continue the investigation on my end too. Though I may have to ask Angie or George for some help on a few matters. I suppose this means the incident Reen was concerned about might be a part of this as well. Well, the ball's in our court now regardless. All that's left is for us to figure out just what the hell's going on. After what we've seen behind the curtain in Erebonia, we might even say it's our duty. Right, this isn't just for the Republic or the Empire. It's our future of all of Zemuria. Alright, let's do our best out there, Crow.
All in a day's work. Reward deposited.
Way up. Chaos up. Good. Looking at the time, I won't start something new again, but
Let's be on our
we
way.
might take a look at the newspaper at least.
Now for the latest news from our news desk. Hope you're having a
The latest travel times will be 100 Mirror. If you're buying, hurry up.
straight from the
Geez, seeing your sour face makes me feel right at home.
recent shocking announcement of a new
You're picking a fight, Brad?
actress's
When are you gonna learn to keep your mouth shut?
premiere screening
And where Pinky and her friend run off to anyway? Bring them back, would ya?
prompting a deluge of ticket reservations.
Yeah, I'm working on it, alright? Don't worry, we'll find them for sure.
More candy? Again? Stop by again.
Did I ever watch the book? I don't think I ever read it, but this is all old news. Okay, anyway, Tyrell Times issue 5. Investment in Cray Village shows signs of success. In November of last year, the majority of Crail Village's residents lost their lives in the worst act of terrorism in recorded history. In the wake of that tragedy, the military sealed off the remains of the village, refusing to permit even the families of the attack's victims to enter for funeral purposes. Grim though the state of affairs in Crail may be, recent reports have shown a ray of hope upon the situation. As early as last year, multiple groups and businesses began collaborating to fundraise for Crail's sake, hoping to lay the spirits of the dead to rest and eventually rebuild the town. Recently, those efforts have hit their fundraising goal. Although the necessary funds have been gathered, the fundraising collective is expected to continue to actively work toward the rebuilding of Crail. Representative of a joint film currently in production between Vegas Films and Kowloon also promised to donate a portion of the film's profits towards the town and have recently reaffirmed their intent to honor that pledge. The majority of the mira collected will be donated to the families of Crail residents, used to construct a monument to the victims of the attack, fund efforts to restore the unique local industries that were lost along with the village, and eventually contribute to the reconstruction of the village itself once the blockade has been lifted. It seems clear that the road to reconstruction will be a long one, but the prevailing sentiment among friends and family of the victims is one of hope. When the blockade is lifted, they believe Crail Village will be rebuilt and the worlds of those who lost their lives will carry on. Who will claim the Z1 Finals trophy? At long last, the final race of the Z1 Grand Prix is scheduled to take place tomorrow. Racing fans from far and wide will gather in the Grand Circuit to see who will become this year's reigning champion. The victor of last month's exhibition race was Maxime, with Aslan coming in second. We spoke with Aslan of the upcoming Grand Prix finals, and he had this to say. I've spent the past month training and training some more, but if not for the efforts of my mechanics, who have tuned my car to perfection time and again, and the undying support of my fans, I wouldn't be standing here today. I intend to live up to the expectations, so for this final race I'm going full throttle. Maxime meanwhile is equally determined to win this upcoming race. I have a 4th consecutive championship to win and I will win it, no matter what it takes. Now more than ever, I've got people who believe in me and I'm not about to let them down, he declared with bolstering confidence. The question on everyone's mind is who will be crowned 1209 Z1 champion? While the teams of the two favored racers, Etwas and Ingot, tend to attract most of the attention, it goes without saying that Red Star and Lino are just as heavily invested in the race's outcome. Lino in particular has suffered from poor showings in the past several Z1 Grand Prix races, and has high hopes to restore its good name through this year's championship. According to a company representative, our team will be racing with the prestige of our whole company on its shoulders. We intend to restore our reputation through this race and then some. Politics. Young Republican Party Senator Ryan takes podium at debate. A political debate sponsored by the International Cooperative Organization (NGO) and scheduled to occur on the 22nd of this month has drawn attention to both the ruling and opposing parties of the Republic. The topic of the debate is about the role the Republic plays on the international stage. It's likely the ICO's intent is to determine the position the Republic may take in its affairs of Zemuria as a whole. The current ruling party, the Patriot League, has already announced that President Graham will participate in the debate. The opposing Republican Party, meanwhile, will be sending Ryan Connery, a young senator who has drawn considerable attention over the past several years. Although Senator Ryan is part of a minor faction within the Republican Party, his talent for planning and adaptability have led many members of the party, including former President Rocksmith, to place their hopes in him. Senator Ryan was kind enough to agree to an interview with us where, on the subject of a debate 2 days from now, he had this to say. Speaking as someone who can hardly be called part of a political mainstream, I must admit that being asked to debate a president was rather intimidating. That said, I have every intention of tackling the debate in good faith and arguing my case to the best of my abilities. My hope is to present a case for how I believe our republic should wield its influence on the political landscape of Zemuria, and also to press President Graham regarding a number of aspects of his vision for our nation. I believe that this debate is about more than just matters of international policy. It concerns the very future of the republic itself, and I intend to treat it accordingly. Although a member of the Republican Party, Senator Ryan is clearly a man with his own unique set of deeply held convictions. The question is, what impact will those convictions have upon the political landscape of the Republic as he steps forward onto the largest stage yet? Opinion. The history of a white clove, symbol of a republic. As we approach the halfway point of March, the white cloves have once again begun to bloom all across the republic, as they do every year, and we can expect them to be in full bloom by the end of the month. They are the symbol of spring in our nation for a good reason. The flowers of a white clove, however, are more than just a sign of the changing seasons. They symbolize a great many things for Calvert, and it is that symbolic value which led to the white clove being selected as our national flower. In this column, I hope to explain to you some of the cultural and historical factors that make the white clove so significant. To start, while the white clove is a common sight throughout the Republic, and the capital in particular, it is an endemic species that grows virtually nowhere else throughout Zemuria. Moreover, it is a flower that has been beloved by the people of Calvert since far back in our nation's history. The Republic's national anthem is even titled "Swear on the White Cloves," demonstrating just how integral a symbol of our nation they truly are. Cloves themselves trace their origins to the continent's southeastern tropics. They're not initially present in the midwestern region that Calvert came to occupy. That said, due to high demand for them as a spice during the monarchy era, they were often imported from an old Eastern Empire. It was during that period that, seemingly miraculous, cloves took root in Calvert's soil, despite the local environments being entirely unlike that of their native land. These cloves soon adapted to local conditions, and so the white clove, a subspecies unique to Calvert, was born. The white clove's beauty and their presence throughout the land is what led its flowers to be beloved by the royalty and adopted as a symbol of the Old Kingdom. Over the course of the Calvardian Revolution, however, the flower took on a new symbolic meaning. In the modern era, the white clove represents peace and harmony through diversity. After all, the white clove is a plant from the southeast that miraculously took root in the west, changing the color of its blossoms to live in harmony with its new environment. As a result, many people have taken to viewing the white clove as being much like the many people of varying ethnicities who coexist within our nation. The white clove, symbol of the Calvert Republic, is more than just a lyric and a motive. It's a symbol of the ideals that drive us forward into the modern era together. Good. But with that, I would end this episode. Also, next time we begin exploring, talking to all the people and stuff, and see how long that takes. Maybe 2 episodes. Probably even 2 episodes. And then, yeah, we'll see what we continue then.
Right.
Until next time, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.